Welcome to This Might Get Personal, the podcast. This is a podcast by me. My name's Corina. I'm based in San Francisco. I'm from the Bay Area. I've worked in a number of different industries, from emergency response to addiction treatment to psychedelics and spirituality, fitness, nutrition, healthcare, wellness. But I've also transitioned into being a small business owner. I do commercial real estate and I have a lot of hobbies. I do mycology, I work with gardens, I do some alchemy, I do a lot of reading and writing, and I have a lot to talk about. So this is a space for me to be authentic and share my experiences and my story so that other people can hopefully relate and have a safe space to also share their stories. The goal of this podcast, this Might Get Personal podcast, is to be able to create a shared space for everyone who's participating, whether you're just listening silently or you're participating and sharing your stories, your experiences, questions, anything along the lines of things that could get personal, because maybe you don't have a community, a group, a space or place to do that. Or maybe you do, but you're just not really quite comfortable doing it yet, and you sort of want to warm up to it. And maybe you're also, comfortable doing, sharing some things with your group, but maybe not others, and you don't have a space for that. And this can be that for you. It's really hard these days sometimes to be authentically yourself in all these ways, because whether you're online, building a brand, or working with, working on a team and everything, there's oftentimes you sort of get built into a box of who you are, how you're supposed to present as, and what sort of interests you even have yourself. So with all that said, welcome to This Might Get Personal. If you have any recommendations for people that you think would be a good fit to talk to on this podcast, and we're not talking about crazy, you don't have to be qualified by any means to be on this podcast, but just to have some sort of life experience that you want to discuss and break down and sort of get into. I have a lot of experience working as a medical provider in addiction treatment and rehab. So I was a medical provider, and you work very closely with people, very intensely, very closely with people. And before that, I was working in emergency medicine. I may have mentioned this just a second ago, but I have a very good comfort level with talking about things. So if you or anyone you know has any sort of interest in discussing things and sharing them so that more people can feel seen and be seen, this is sort of the space for that. Well, this is the space for that. And I want to be able to help other people kind of along the way, because really, if I'm being honest, I really miss working in the rehab. I really miss working in emergency medicine, and I have other reasons why I'm not doing it, because I'm trying to start a small business. I'm trying to start a family and do other things, which kind of make those careers not as compatible with my life. But ultimately, my very long-term vision goal is to create a sanctuary for people in addiction recovery, and also hopefully a sanctuary for alternative sentencing for people who've committed very low-level crimes that don't belong in prison. And so this is just sort of me wanting to start that path and make it more public, because it has to at some point gain momentum for me to be able to achieve those long-term goals that I have. And they are real long-term goals. If you know an investor, I have pitch decks ready to go. If you know an investor, I have my pitch decks ready to go. It's not a joke. I've been very much on my game about this, and I'm looking for grants and SBAs and things. But along the ways, I want to be able to sort of build a community around these efforts and these interests, so that we can all be involved to whatever extent we're comfortable, whether you want to listen silently, submit stories, be on a newsletter, be a patron and a supporter. and even a founding member, the founding investor, founding member. These are all ways that we can sort of build and contribute to this vision, which is not something for me. It's something that is for, um, well, it's for some. I'll explain it this way. The reason I'm starting this podcast now is because this week specifically marks the 9-year anniversary of a very traumatic 45 days that I experienced 9 years ago. And I won't, oh, I'm trying to keep this short. This is just sort of an intro right now. But the experience I had was a loss of two very close individuals who meant a lot to me and still mean a lot to me. And I lost them both. One was through suicide, and the other one was through uh, overdose, a drug overdose. And these people both meant a tremendous amount to me. I was 21 at the time. I'm 30 now. So I just had my solar return this year, if you guys are into that. And right now, this week marks the 9-year anniversary of the end of the end of that 40-day period. And so if you're into numerology, if you are familiar with numerology at all, it's not all woo-woo. It's not as woo-woo as it sounds. It's actually really well based in mathematics. And it dates back all the way to, I think, 1200 BC. And it's been replicated all around the globe several times with extreme similarity, like almost exactly the same around the globe throughout history. And so it's really, anyways, I'll save that hoopla for now. But according to numerology, the number 9 signifies a window of completion. And it occurred to me a few months ago, after I realized I was in my solar return, I realized somehow that because it wasn't something I was thinking of. It wasn't really something I was conscious of. I was definitely going through some other things in life at the time, but then it occurred to me, it came up that this year, um, this week specifically, marks the 9-year completion of that phase of my life. And it has nothing to do with that phase being removed or like no longer an impactful element in my life at all. It's more so that this is an opportunity, a window of opportunity for me to sort of integrate my experience from this into the purpose that it was for. Because as shitty as it always sucks, I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I do very much believe that I have integrated this experience deeply. And I have lived experiences that have very much contributed to that integration along the way. And so this is a podcast that I've been meaning to start for quite a while now. And it's recently occurred to me that this is probably the best time for me to do it, because what I'm hoping to do is to be able to step into this new era with a fully integrated person, which is me, as well as a purpose and a community that I can contribute my experiences to. There's at no point do I desire to be sort of up here all alone. My goal is to be able to have conversations and discussions and panels with psychologists and all sorts of people who are sort of adjacent, or even, even people who are skeptics or whatever, to be able to hear different voices and to be able to more specifically have a space for conversations that are otherwise pushed to the side, seen as taboo, seen as too complicated, or things like that, because those are things that I sort of specialize in. And I find that unless if I create the space for it myself, or unless if I go back to the rehabs and the working on the ambulances and things like that, because rehabs and ambulances are these like hidden like these niche areas of life that affect all of us, whether you no matter what language you speak, what shoes you have on your feet, you know, what your sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter. We are all subject to emergency medicine and addiction treatment. Happens across the board, everyone, and it's baffled me so much throughout the years how these things are never talked about, and more so, never even seen. There's no movies or anything about this whole like section of life, and it very much goes unseen. And because it goes unseen, it goes not talked about, it goes misunderstood, and whether we like that or not, it has a deep impact on our individual psyche and our greater consciousness. And so hopefully my goal is that bringing these conversations to the forefront isn't to trigger any trauma or to trauma bond or to do, what's the other word I'm looking for? I can't remember. Anyways, I want to be able to allow the integration and the reflection, even the sort of like questioning that experience and sort of questioning your own sort of interpretation of that experience, because I find a lot of times that we don't really know how we feel about something until we talk about it. And there's a number of reasons for that, but you can actually even look at it physiologically, because when you speak something, you feel the sound that you make. It creates a frequency, and you can actually feel the frequency in your body. You know what I'm saying? Is if you're trying to be aware and conscious of it. Because like, for example, if I was to go all pick me and say, oh, please, please pick me, you know what I mean? Then you feel that frequency. It's a very, sort of, it goes lower. But if I'm talking right now, you feel I sound confident and things like that. And if I was to say, oh, fuck Nancy, okay? I don't know who Nancy is. I love you, Nancy. Sorry for using your name, but your frequency changes, right? And so I say all this to say that when you actually have the opportunity to say the things that you only been thinking in your head because you haven't had the space to think it, or maybe it's one of those things that you only type online, you're only typing on Reddit, you're only talking about through text, you're still not really having the opportunity to vocalize it. And when you do that, you actually feel it in your body. And so I don't want to get too carried away right here. Again, this is just my little intro for this project, which I have so much more to share about. There's so much more that I look forward to sharing here. And listen, this is not something that's produced. This is not something that is really, this is raw, this is unedited. I will try to fix small things to make sure that it looks and sounds good. But other than that, there's no script, there's nothing. This is my project where I'm just being authentic, off the cuff, because I do find that is genuinely what people benefit from the most. If there's anything that I can bring to this world, I find that being authentically present is what has been of most service to mostly everyone I've ever met in my entire life. It's not gifts. It's not it's presence. And how funny is it? Because obviously presence is another word for gifts. I did not plan that. That was unscripted. So, I think that's all I'll say for now. But if you're here and you got this far, thank you for being here. I have no idea where this is going to go. The thing is that for me, in a lot of my ventures and what I do, whether it's songwriting or, formulating botanicals and doing a lot of other things that I do, it's genuinely because I know what it's like to be out there and be like, where is this? I'm looking for this and I need a resource. So that's why I'm doing this. If you're out there and you see this as a resource that potentially could benefit you, I hope to hear from you. I look forward to hopefully having a community of people who we can all sort of come together and be the community that we need for each other. Yeah. So if you're here, thank you for being here. Again, this is a really intense and bittersweet week for me, going through a lot of sort of emotions and things with this coming up. Yeah, I'm going to do an offering this weekend to hopefully mark to have a ceremony that respects and acknowledges the experience that I had and the effort that I've put in to integrating and the aspirations that I have moving forward. And I really look forward to sharing that and then also moving past that and sharing and looking at the future with eyes wide open. So if you're here, again, thank you so much. Please share this with someone that you think would also be of interest. Again, this is not something that's produced. This is just me in my bedroom. So I hope to keep doing this and we'll see where it goes. All right, guys, that's it for now. Talk to you guys next time.